And I am back. Welcome back to another week of 50K training for my first 50K Black Canyons, February 9th this year. Thank you to everybody letting me take a week off. Yeah, definitely needed a break from 50K training and 50K documenting and making videos. So thank you for not giving me a bunch of crap for no video last week. I had an incredible bike packing trip with my buddy Steve. There's a 3-part series of that coming out in February, probably 4th, 5th, and 6th, I think. Absolutely incredible trip. We bike packed the Salton Sea. It was just exactly what I needed. So with that said, last week, the only day that I ran was on Sunday. Basically, we got back from the trip on Friday, took Saturday off, and then ran Sunday, which was a 20-miler. And let me tell you, I kind of messed that one up. I forgot to bring nutrition, so like the very first 2 hours started out really good, and then at like hour 2:20, I just felt like crap and like just suffered the rest of the thing. But I got at least 20 miles in last week, so it wasn't like completely off, but I did get like 200 miles of bike packing, so 60-pound bike and 200 miles of riding. There's some good fitness from there. And so before I dive into this week and what's going on forward and all that fun stuff, I want to give a shout out to Jack O'Reilly, who left a really awesome comment on the last video I did. He said, "Enjoyed this, really well made." I appreciate that. I pride myself on my videos and my YouTube. Like, everything I've done has never been half-assed, and even the half-assed things, I try to put as much quality into it as possible. These are not just like, oh, I just go out and film something and just slap it together and edit. No, there's filming it, trying to get different angles, making it entertaining. There's then, making sure the music sounds good, making the sound sounds good, making sure there's color grading. There's a lot that goes into these videos, so anytime somebody drops a comment and that like understands like the production value that I try to put in these, try to make these as quality as possible, yeah, that's huge. I appreciate that. These are not just videos I can sit here and just knock out all day. Sometimes they take a day or more to edit. Perfect example, the bike packing videos I just did. I mean, that took me almost 4 days to edit all those. With that said, let's dive into 50K training. So being that last week was off due to bike packing, I opted this week to kind of just do as much back-to-back kind of long runs as I could. Started out Tuesday. I know, I never film a Tuesday, but started out Tuesday with a just good old steady endurance. I just wanted to get endurance pace back, just wanted to kick off the week right, and just go ahead and just put in some miles. I opted for just a good old road run at just endurance pace. Nothing fancy, nothing special, not trying to push super hard or anything. Ended up with 2 hours and 9 minutes with 15 miles at a 8:39 average pace. And the funny thing is, my efficiency for my 20-mile run on Sunday via Chorus was like 100%, even though I fell apart towards the end. And like you can see at mile like 18 and 19 how slow the paces were. I had 100%. For whatever reason, this run only got a 98% on my efficiency. However, if you ask me how I felt on this run felt incredible. I don't know if it was the fact that I fell apart on Sunday and that was so hard, or that I had a day off, or the fitness from the cycling kind of kicked in, but this run felt really good. I was just able to tick into those paces. I was just able to hold steady. Like, everything just felt doable. Like, it did not feel like it was any work. It was one of those just very enjoyable runs. Yeah, I cannot be more stoked how the week started. This was just one of those runs that is just like, wow, this feels good. These are the runs that you actually enjoy running, and try to ignore all the times that you don't, which is most of the time. Heart rate was completely in zone 2 the whole time. Average heart rate was 138. My cadence looked really good this day, 178. Stride length looked awesome. Like I said, just everything kind of felt and looked good on this run, which then leads us into good old Interval Wednesdays. So for Interval Wednesdays on this one, I decided I was going to go and try some new place. There's this other dirt road I've been eyeing for a while now, more so for the gravel bike, but I thought I'd give it a try on the other side of a mountain range of a different road that I do. So I didn't know if it was going to be super sandy or if it was going to be like hard, compact stuff, but I was going to give it a try and just see how this new place was. And the idea behind this one was just to try to find some terrain that's a little bit similar to maybe what's in the race. Try to get some of these reps that were, maybe on an incline, but not too crazy of an incline. The intervals for Wednesday were 4 by 10 minutes. Just kind of trying to push into that upper end of endurance pace, just below tempo. Recovery was going to be 5 minutes. Effort number 1. 10 minutes. Here we go. Turned around so I can get the nice uphill sandy. Make it just a little bit more challenging. Because why not? Here we go. Starting out this run was absolutely beautiful. It's nice to have like a new surrounding. Sometimes, it takes like a new place to just get you really into the mood of running, and other times it's just you want the same old because you know exactly how far it is, you know what to expect and whatnot. But starting out this run, it kind of started like good hard pack stuff, and then it rolled into like some sandy stuff, and it was kind of like slightly downhill. But I found this one little section that I decided I was going to run down, flip around when the intervals was time, and then run up it. And I thought it was a bigger percentage grade, but looking back at the data, there was not a lot of elevation. So I think where I was doing this run, the terrain was a lot looser, a lot sandier than I thought. So it just kind of made it feel like you were running more on an incline and really weren't, which is totally fine. I was still going to get some benefit running in this type of terrain versus on the road. First one done. If all 4 of these go as well as that one, I'll be super happy with today. Had a slight grade for the most of it, and then about a minute of downhill just to kind of switch it up a little bit. Not like crazy grade, but just a slight incline. The watch just kept reminding me, you're running this a little hot, you're running this a little hot. So either I'm running it a little hot because I'm feeling fresh and funky right now and I'll blow up later, or I'm just in a little bit better fitness and we'll be able to hold all these. We shall see. 5 minutes jog, back downhill, and do it again. Those views though, bro, those views. I know. Round 2, 10 minutes. Gonna go switch it up with this time. A couple minutes downhill and then flip it. And then have most of it back uphill. Yeah, so the first interval went really great. I don't know what it is. I just was feeling good, like I was able to tick into the paces I wanted. I kind of was like pushing a little bit hotter than I should be. I don't know what it was, but it was just one of those days where it was like, okay, this is going pretty dang good. So the first 10-minute effort was about 1.2 miles long at an 8:19 pace, and there was about 56 feet of elevation gain. Yeah, like I said, not a lot, but it definitely felt like there was some there. Not like taxing on the legs, but it just felt like the paces just were not as quick as they would be. And honestly, it looked like you were running up a hill. So wrapped up that first one feeling really great.
Second one done. That one might have even felt better than the first one. I definitely was overcooking that one. I think I got down to 7:30 on accident on the percentage of effort pace. So the grade, when the pace adjusts for the grade, yeah, without the grade I'm not sure, but yeah, I got down to a 7:30 effort pace. I might be getting a little bit stronger. I think maybe bike packing did some good, not running for a week. Okay, little jog, do it again 2 more times. Round 3.
I was very happy with how the second one went. Just, I don't know, felt like I could really dig into some power, some speed. It just was all kind of coming together. So the second 10-minute effort ended up being 1.25 miles long, a little bit longer due to the downhill, at a 8-minute pace with 52 feet of vertical gain. So again, not a lot of vertical gain, but similar to what the last one was, and at a quicker pace. But the question was, could I hold it for 2 more?
3 down. 1 to go. That one went even better. Really pushed harder into that one, which is awesome. I can mellow off a little bit on the next one. Look at this view though, holy crap. Views, as we say, views. Okay.
And then rolling into number 3. Yep, I think just I was on a good one this day, so I pushed harder into number 3, just feeling good, just feeling like I could really tick in those paces, feeling like the form was just there, just everything was coming together. Even running with the vest and the extra weight, it was all there this day, and I couldn't be more thrilled. So on the third set, I ran 1.27 miles at a 7:54 pace, and so far I negative split each of these sets. This one also had 59 feet of elevation gain, so a little bit more. Super pumped, just feeling so good in a beautiful place, loving this new little section that I'm running. Yeah, all good things.
All right, last one. Last 10-minute effort. What you got? What you got?
What's up, Bobby? Hi. Hi, buddy. Hi.
And number 4, I don't know. I told myself before starting this one that I had no reason to push any harder, but for whatever reason, I was feeling spicy and decided to just go ahead and push on this one as well. Let's just see if I could just negative split all these. Let's just see if I just kind of dig in where I'm at and see what we end up with. So on that final one, which ended up being my best 10-minute effort, I got 1.29 miles, and that ended up being a 7:44 pace.
Yes. Okay, I lied. I went even harder on that one. Feeling too good not to push myself. We're almost out of that area where you really don't make any more gains. So I'm just trying to eke out a little bit more gains before then. Yes.
So wrapping up good old interval Wednesday, I finished the run with just under an extra 20 minutes of steady running, endurance, nothing hard. Just kind of had to run back through the sand and some other little trail to get back to the car. And then rolling on into Thursday. Thursday was just 2 hours endurance running, nothing fancy. Threw on the shoes, just decided I was going to go run on the road, and was just going to do some endurance miles, just time on feet, clocking in some miles, no frills. Ended up wrapping Thursday up with 15.75 miles, 2 hours and 15 minutes. This run did not feel as good as the other two runs. Kind of fell apart around mile 13. I'm not sure if it was just the fatigue from the other two sessions or what it was. It just was not the highlight. Did not feel great. It was doable, and that's all there was to it. It was just doable. I'm at the point now in my training where it's like this is kind of the last week where I can gain any fitness. After this, there's basically no more fitness to be gained. It's just kind of just holding on to what I have. So this week I was just really trying to eke out anything I could. There's not a lot to gain in this week, but there's at least I can add on a little something. So that's why I was just trying to do, nothing less than an hour and a half, really. I was just trying to do at least as many 2-hour runs as I could. I was just trying to eke out every little bit of fitness that I could. Because after this week, like I said, the runs get shorter and there's just not a lot to gain. And being that I took last week kind of off, I just wanted to kind of push myself this week in any of my intervals that I had. I kind of want to just really tap into those paces on the endurance runs and just see what I could eke out for the week. Rolling into Friday. Friday, I decided I was going to do another 2 hours endurance running, but I wanted to do it on the trail, and this was going to be my elevation run. I try to get at least one run a week where I get almost all of my elevation or a good amount of my elevation, just a run where I get elevation gain in. So I opted for going to run the hills that I've been running on, and the idea was to get 2 hours. They didn't need to be at any certain paces. I kind of wanted it to be endurance, but I kind of want to get close to the elevation gain I would get race day. It would just be obviously a lot less miles. The recurring theme kind of this week was, since Sunday I guess, was really I had a day where I didn't feel great running, and then like the next run would be like phenomenal. And it just was kind of like this yo-yo effect this week. So rolling into this run, I felt a little bit sluggish and my knees were tired on the beginning of the run, but for whatever reason, I ran up all of the hills. I just felt like a motor, like I just had this motor. While they're not like super fast efforts up the hill, these are hills that, I can run up, but I have done more speed hiking up. But for whatever reason on this day, I was just going to run up everything, and that's what I did. I think there was only one little section I did not run because it was either too technical or too steep. But I mean, we're talking grades between 10 and 20%, and I was running these or jogging them because I am slow. Let's be honest here. Like on a 20%er, I was maybe doing like an 18 mile per hour pace or whatever. But
not gonna lie, I really did not want to run today. After some good old manual labor, I was ready to sit in a chair and do nothing the rest of the day. But that is not on the cards, and I am out here getting some incredible trail in, which actually now I'm feeling good about. Feeling good about getting a run in. Not so anti-run right now. Sometimes all it takes is just getting out the door. Other times all it takes is just getting on some good trail. Maybe a little bit of both today. Feeling all right. Almost 3 miles in with 830 feet of elevation gain. You know what it is. Good old punchy climbs in the backyard.
yeah, what a great run. I just could not be more thrilled on how well the run went on Friday. Just was super pumped on it. I mean, the paces weren't fast or anything, but I just came away from this run feeling like I was strong, feeling like, okay, this training has really done something for me. Like, I am seeing benefits now coming from this. And again, back to the trying to eke out any fitness, this was just trying to get that elevation gain, just trying to eke out whatever I can. So part of running up all the steep hills was just trying to eke out any little extra thing I could. And wrapping up Friday, ended up with 10.68 miles. I hit my 2 hours, actually got 2 hours and 8 minutes at a 12:01 pace with 1,913 feet of elevation gain. I think Black Canyons for the 50K has like 1,999 feet. So in 10.5 miles, I hit the same elevation gain. And I was super ecstatic to hit that. Like I said, I love running elevation. So yeah, hitting that 1,900, knowing that I have to do that in 30 something miles, and I just did it on only 10 miles, and I could just keep running off that. Super stoked. That just felt really good. And my cadence looked really good for this run, so I was stoked on that, being that cadence can be all over the place when you're running on terrain.
All right, rolling into my first interval set. Today is 2 by 30 minutes. Basically just a little bit higher than endurance pace. So that puts me somewhere between a 7:55, 56 and an 8:30 pace. I'm gonna try to just ease on into it, see how it goes. Another day where I just not feeling running, but that's no excuse. Time to get the work in, get it done, go home so I can eat. Here we go.
And let's roll on to the final day of the week, Saturday. Saturday, if you've watched any of these videos before, is another interval day. Starting out the run, my knees were sore. I was a little bit tired. I really didn't want to run. I had a few of these days where I just did not feel like running. And then after I run, I'm happy I did it, obviously. But this was just one where it was like, man, I don't want to do this. Knocked out 15 minutes of a warm-up, and then rolling into set number 1. As soon as I got into it, I was like, okay, this feels good. This feels good running some quicker paces. This feels like doable, like my body wants to run faster. I probably pushed these intervals a little bit hot, but you know what? Like I said, I was trying to eke out any extra fitness this week, and I am happy how it went.
First 30-minute effort down, ended up with a 7:56 pace, so a little bit hotter than it should have been, but felt pretty good. The first ones are always questionable, right? Like first interval set, you either feel like garbage or feel great. That one just felt pretty good. The second one will definitely be the telltale sign how we're feeling. Heart rate stayed in zone 2, which is nice. Kind of started creeping to the higher end of zone 2 when I was hitting like 7:44, 7:50 pace. So yeah, all in all, not too bad. Knock out one more of those and some steady running. Okay.
Now, yes, I know I do not plan on running this on trail, but just being able to hold higher paces, even if I'm running slower, I should be able to hold higher paces on the trail in the race, no problem. So ended up with 3.78 miles for the 30 minutes and a 7:56 pace. And the in-between of these sets was only set for 5 minutes. I didn't want to give myself a big, long recovery in between. I just wanted it to be like, you're on the gas for 30 minutes and then you only have 5 minutes. Drop that heart rate and go again. So the recovery was like kind of sluggish. I was like, oh man, I'm not sure how set number 2 is going to go.
All this training must be doing something. Just finished up set number 2 with a 7:49 pace. Much hotter than the first one, but completely doable. So yeah, stoked on that. Feels good to run slightly fast. Now I got like 40 minutes of just steady running, and then I can call that a Saturday.
Wrapping up set number 2, ended up with 3.84 miles, 30 minutes at a 7:49 pace. I could not be more stoked on how well these two went. For my last big interval, it's just, man, it feels good to see the strengths coming out, see the progress coming out. It's like, okay. And this was a run where I was running off of basically 40, almost 50 something miles already. So there's fatigue in the body. You're tired. You don't want to run. So just seeing that, just feeling how good those felt was awesome. However, the rest of the run kind of went downhill. I might have run those a little bit too hot. I probably got somewhere close to the 2-hour mark. Right after the last 5-minute kind of cool down from that set, I just rolled into basically endurance running, and then it kind of fell apart. I didn't feel so great, didn't feel so strong. My paces were kind of falling off, you know. I mean, I had planned on just running endurance paces. I was hoping for like 8:30s, and they kind of dropped down to like 8:43s. The last mile or 2 miles was really slow, maybe in 9 something. So I might have gone a little bit too hot on those. But even with how crappy I was feeling at the end of this, I was still able to run. Like, it was never like, oh, I can't do this. It was a matter of, okay, this sucks, but I'm still taking away time. I'm still able to run. I'm running slower, but I am still able to run. And it is what it is. Like I said, this was like the recurring theme this week. Like, one run would feel completely crappy, like, oh, this is just not good. And then like the next one was like the most amazing thing ever. I could see all this benefit from the trainings, and then it was like fell apart. I don't know. It was an interesting week. Like I was just trying to eke out the fitness. I was seeing progress, and I was seeing like things kick my butt. So it was a kind of a fun yo-yo effect this week. And Sunday, I wasn't sure if I was going to run or not. I had to go to town and do a bunch of things. The weather got super crazy, super windy and stuff. So it was in my mind, you know, if I ran, cool. If not, it's all right, because I got some good mileage in those 4 days. I got some good workouts in those 4 days of running this week. Wrapping up the week with 69 miles, 10.5 hours, and 3,189 feet of elevation gain. You know, I'm stoked with that. I think that is good. Yeah, could I have ticked into like 75 miles? Sure. I don't know. Like I said, this is kind of the last week to kind of get any more fitness, and I feel like I really eked out some extra fitness. I feel like there's something there. Now, rolling into next week, none of my runs are longer than 90 minutes. And then the following week is basically going into taper week. So there's not a whole lot. There's no more fitness to be gained after this. I'm finishing off this week feeling like I am ready. I have put in the work. I feel strong. I feel like I've done a 27-mile run. I feel like I'm ready. Now, is that I'm ready to run a 50K? Is that I'm ready, I got everything I could? I don't know. I think it's more of a I'm ready to see what happens. Whether or not I go in and this completely falls apart, or I go in and I am completely strong. I don't think I ever enter the unknown category, which this is, and know if it's doable. You know, the first marathon I ran, it was an unknown. I felt like I was ready to see what happened, but didn't know if I could do it. And like, I think that's how I am for like going into this. I am confident that I put in good work, a good 10 weeks of training. I feel like I'm strong. I'm stronger than where I was. I feel like running 20 miles again is completely doable. I'm comfortable running for 4 hours, especially if I'm not running for 4 hours after already running 50 miles. So, yeah, I just feel like I'm ready. I'm just ready to go and race. I am ready to see what happens. I am ready to see if I did everything right. I'm ready to see if the race day is going to go in my favor or not go in my favor. I am just ready. And whatever ready is, we will see. I don't know if I want to film next week because it's not very sexy or exciting. Like everything is dwindling down. So let me know in the comments if you guys want another week, or should I just cap it off here and then film like a travel week vlog style of the taper week, everything I get into, and then a race video. I'm trying to decide what to do. Part of me wants to be done with this series. Like, I've enjoyed it, but it's been a lot of work. I've enjoyed sharing my journey with you, but I don't know how much you guys are going to get from, you know, my final week of training, where it's just like everything is cut down. So if you guys want to see next week, drop it below. Otherwise, I'm kind of on the edge of just not filming next week and this being the end of the series, and then rolling into, you know, the travel week, the week before the race, the taper, let you guys know how all that's working, and then a race video. Final takeaway. I'm ready, I guess. Like, comment, subscribe, all those fun things. I will see you guys in whatever we decide is the next video. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate everybody, you know, joining in for these videos. And be sure to stay tuned if you're into the cycling stuff for the bike packing videos. I hope these do really well. It's just kind of something different how I did them, and I'm very excited to share it with you. All right, later.